Hello, I'm Sneha Koshi and we are getting you all the latest news from around the world, starting with what has been launched by Modi government, an all-out attack on the Hungarian American business tycoon, billionaire George Soros. Now, the Modi government has attacked George Soros' statement, saying that he has targeted India's democracy. What had George Soros said? He had actually questioned the Prime Minister's silence linked to what is happening around the Adani group and had said that he will have to answer in the parliament. BJP has claimed and attacked the Hungarian American billionaire, saying this is an attempt to demonize Indian democracy. Going on to say that the remark is a declaration to destroy India's democratic process. Efforts to weaken Indian democracy will be met with India's might. This was all said by Union Minister Smriti Irani in a press conference held just a while ago. She's led the Modi government's front attack from the front on the Hungarian American businessman, a billionaire by himself, a very controversial figure. Who is George Soros? Well, he's a businessman and a philanthropist, a Hungarian American, 92-year-old financier. He was born in Budapest to a Jewish family, survived the Nazi occupation of Hungary. Soros moved to the United Kingdom in 1947. He studied at the London School of Economics, has been a very controversial figure for several things that has been linked to him. Now, from the ruling government as well as the opposition, there have been a lot of reactions to what George Soros has said. But first, let's bring you what Minister Smriti Irani has said on George Soros' statements.
Reverting to India, Modi and business tycoon Adani are close allies. Their fate is intertwined. Adani Enterprises tried to raise funds in the stock market but failed. Adani is accused of stock manipulation and his stock collapsed like a house of cards. Modi is silent on the subject, but he will have to answer questions from foreign investors and in Parliament. This will significantly weaken Modi's stranglehold on India's federal government and open the door to push for much-needed institutional reforms. I may be naive, but I expect a democratic revival in India.
The man who broke the Bank of England, a man who is known and designated so by a nation as an economic war criminal, has now pronounced his desire to break the Indian democracy. That George Soros wants a government which is pliable to his needs is more than evident from his statements. That he has pronounced funding of over $1 billion, particularly to target leaders like Prime Minister Modi, is significant. That when India rose to the 5th largest economy of the world, when the President of the United States of America, the Prime Minister of England, the President of France, publicly extended gratitude to the Indian Prime Minister and India for enabling employment not only in India, but also these 3 designated nations. Such is a time where the imperialistic intentions of an entrepreneur come to light. Today, as a citizen, I call upon every individual and organization, societal or political, to denounce the intention of this individual who seeks to demonize our democracy, weaken our democratic interests, and who brings an onslaught to the economy of India, all so that he can personally gain. Those who Mr. Soros finds pliable need to know that India has defeated imperialistic designs before and shall do so again. Those who support Mr. Soros need to know that democracy has prevailed in India and will continue to do so, and particularly as a Karyakarta of the Bharatiya Janata Party, these designs to weaken Indian democracy will be met with the might of India under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
And there have been a lot of reactions from the opposition as well, even as Smriti Irani, the union minister, has launched a frontal attack of the Modi government against George Soros, the billionaire businessman. Now, Jairam Ramesh of the Congress has said that this has nothing to do with the George Soros. Our Nehruvian legacy ensures people like Soros cannot determine our electoral outcomes. And we also have Priyanka Chaturvedi, who has also put out a tweet asking who is George Soros and why is BJP Stroll Mantralaya doing an entire press conference dedicated to him. Now, from that, let's move on to another horrific story that NDTV is tracking very closely. A day after the burnt bodies of two men were found in a car in Haryana, a kidnapping case has been filed against 5 men suspected to be cow vigilantes. Nazir, 25, and Junaid, 35 years old, had been kidnapped from Rajasthan's Bharatpur district on Wednesday. Their families alleged in their complaint to the police. The charred bodies of Nazir and Junaid were found in a Mahindra Bolero SUV on Thursday morning in Haryana's Bhiwani district. Police are still trying to establish whether the remains are those of Nazir and Junaid. I'm being joined by my colleague Vedant, who's on the ground tracking the story very closely. Vedant, we can see that you're outside a police station. And what have you been seeing at the location where you are since the time you've reached there? What are the responses you are getting?
So Sneha, the latest that we're getting is that the 5 accused, which includes Monu Manesar, who is allegedly a cow vigilante, that's something that the family of the victims have alleged. Now, all of the 5 accused are absconding, is what we're being told by the police. The Rajasthan police, of course, has said that we will make sure to nab the accused with the cooperation of the Haryana police. That's what the Rajasthan police said. And so far, what we're being told is that all the 5 accused are underground. They are absconding. Now, the police are trying to nab them because so far no arrests have been made in this particular case. Now, very quickly, let me just quickly, sort of take you through the timeline of the case. So it was a day before yesterday that the family alleges that these 2 men, Nasir and Junaid, were in fact, kidnapped, and they were beaten brutally by a group of men. After that, in Bolero, as you rightly mentioned, they were brought to Haryana, which is where yesterday the Haryana police, in fact, recovered the charred car and 2 dead bodies. Now, those dead bodies were completely charred. Now, the police are trying to establish and determine whether these 2 men died because they were burnt alive, as alleged by the victims' families, or whether the car caught fire. Now, we spoke to the DSP of Haryana, and he said that this particular aspect can be ascertained only after the post-mortem reports are out. Remember, the DNAs of the deceased have also been preserved. The other important aspect, Sneha, is that the family alleges that the group of men are all cow vigilantes, and they're also part of a Haryana government-backed cow protection team. Now, we raised this question with the police as well, and they said that they have not heard of these the accused before, and they're not aware of any such cow protection team, and that no such cases have been registered against such a team, at least in this particular area of Haryana. Now, what the families are saying is that the group of men beat them brutally, and they burnt them alive because because they were cow vigilantes. Now, the police have also said this on record, that one of the victims also had a criminal record of cow smuggling. That's what the police had said. The other victim has no such criminal record. So that is why this particular allegation and aspect of cow vigilantism has now been brought to light. Now, as far as this area is concerned, Sneha, this particular area is really known for cow vigilantism. Multiple cases have come up. In fact, villagers here also live in terror as far as cow vigilantism is concerned.
Vedant, while you're mentioning about the location where you are right now and about the cow vigilantism, I have to ask you this question. We are talking about two men who have lost their lives. Police is saying they don't know whether they were burnt alive or whether they died in fire. One, do we have a police statement on that? It's been several hours, if not over 24 hours, that this incident happened. Has the police said anything on that? Secondly, you're talking about cow vigilantism, and the police saying that they don't have any such, at least the team, suspected team or the accused in this case, don't have links in the past. But you mentioned Monu Manesar, and he seems to be a person with a very clear track record in cases of cow vigilantism. So how is the police looking at this? It's not one, it's not two, it's repeated offense from at least the history that has been even reported in news. So these two aspects, Vedant, what have you got on these?
Absolutely, Sneha. Those are very pertinent questions. So now, to answer your first question, as far as this aspect is concerned, whether the men were burnt alive or whether the car actually caught fire, so we put this question straight to the DSP of this particular area, and he said that prima facie it seems like the car caught fire, which is completely contrary to what the family alleges. Now, the family alleges that these people were clearly burnt alive because of the kind of brutality with which this group of men allegedly beat them up. So that is why the family is saying that it's unlikely that the car caught fire and that the men were actually burnt alive. Now, the police say that prima facie it seems the car caught fire, but it can be ascertained only after the post-mortem report is actually out. So that is what the police's stand on this is. Now, to answer your second question about cow vigilantism, now very important, this Monu Manesar that you are questioning, he is of course seen as the face of a cow vigilante group, a cow protection team. But what the police essentially say is that now the matter is with what the Haryana police is saying is that the matter is with the Rajasthan police. So if the Rajasthan police indeed decides to investigate a cow vigilantism aspect, which they are, the Haryana police will cooperate with them. That is what their stand is. They're not coming out in the open and actually saying that we are very actively probing a cow vigilantism angle, because remember, very often the allegation is that these cow vigilantes operate in tandem with the local police. Now, that is just an allegation, but that is what the perception also is. So that is why the local police are not saying it very openly that they are probing the cow vigilantism angle very actively, but larger questions, of course, will be raised.
So Vedant, an important point here that you're making. On one hand, you're mentioning that this is a belt where cow vigilantism is very active. There have been many instances of cow vigilantism. But the Haryana police is silent on it.
Pehlu Khan, for example,
says that they are not probing any such instances as such. If the Rajasthan police wishes to, they will. An absolutely shoddy job to start with, Vedant.
So Sneha, remember the family, in the FIR also, the family has very clearly alleged that these are cow vigilantes, and of course the Rajasthan police have also said that one of the victims has a cow smuggling record. So that also makes it clear that there is some angle as far as that is concerned. Now, of course, the local police here in Haryana say that we have handed over the case to the Rajasthan police. We've handed over the bodies and the charred car to the Rajasthan police, and now it's their job to take the investigation forward. So how the Rajasthan police actually investigate the cow vigilantism angle, that remains to be seen.
Right. Thank you, Vedant, for those details. We have our two reporters, Vedant and Saurabh Shukla, both on the ground very closely following this story. One on the place where the two men were kidnapped, and the other at the location, at the scene of crime where the charred bodies were recovered. And let's quickly listen to what my colleague Saurabh Shukla has sent as what the police, a top police official, has told him.
Right now we are in Bharatpur. I'm joined by IG Gautam Adani. We've been playing the story that yesterday two charred bodies were found from Bhiwani of Haryana. They have been identified as Junaid and Nasir from Bharatpur of Rajasthan. Family is alleging that they were kidnapped by 5 workers of Bajrang Dal and they were murdered, they were burnt alive in Bhiwani. To talk about this whole story, I've joined by IG Gautam Adani. Sir, what is the update? Please brief our viewers about the whole story and the allegations by the family as well.
There are 2 boys who are residents of Ghatmika village in Bharatpur, and their relatives reported on the evening of 15th that they are missing, and through their local information of talking to other villagers and all, they have come to know that these 2 boys were kidnapped by certain persons, of which they were able to identify 5 people whom they have linked to a particular organization, and those people have beaten up those boys badly, and the boys are still missing. So this information came to us on the evening of 15th. We immediately launched a search operation of kinds and tried to trace out their mobile phones and their last locations and other technical things by which we are able to verify where these boys have gone. On the morning of 16th, the disturbing news came that the vehicle in which these 2 boys were last seen, that vehicle has been found in a burnt condition in Luharu of Bhiwani district in Haryana, and that 2 unidentified persons have also been burnt alive inside that vehicle, and their charred bodies, skeleton basically, is also there. So immediately we took the relatives of those missing persons along with our team to Bhiwani. The vehicle has been identified as the same vehicle based on the engine and chassis number. It's a reasonable assumption at this stage that the 2 persons who have been burnt in that incident are these 2 boys only who are missing. Confirmatory evidence can only be obtained after the DNA analysis, which we have taken, and we'll be sending it to FSL for the matching. Based upon the situation, the other circumstantial evidences that we have picked up, also based upon the criminal history of one of the deceased who has been involved in certain cases of cow slaughter, cow smuggling earlier, it looks like that these 2 boys were picked up by certain people based upon this suspicion that they are involved in such cases, and probably...
So your family is clearly saying that these 5 people, Monu Manesar, Rinku, Saini, they are workers of Bajrang Dal and they are naming this organization. So in your investigation so far, could you get anything related to that they are from Bajrang Dal and they are involved or not? You have nabbed them? Are you questioning them?
So the association of certain persons with certain organizations, that is a factual position. There's hardly anything to dispute or corroborate. What we are investigating is that by whatever sources the relatives were able to identify these people based upon certain villagers' statements or some other people, we are corroborating that. We are investigating by all sources the presence and the activities of these suspects in and around that area. at the time of the incident in particular. And also, ever since these people were identified in the FIR, our teams have been scrambled to get custody of these people so that we can directly question them about their alleged role based upon the FIR only, as has been alleged by the relatives.
They're underground?
They are underground. They are underground ever since the morning of 16th, and because they are all based in Haryana, we are constantly in touch with the concerned officers of Haryana police as well, obtaining their support to nab these people.
So there was some panchayat also in the village of these deceased. Family, they are reluctant. They are saying they want justice and help and independent inquiry in this whole case. So you have convinced the family for the cremation, or you are still struggling to do that?
The relatives of the two persons who went missing, they have been in constant touch with the police. We have kept them involved at every stage of investigation, right from the time of reporting, and everything that has transpired ever since, including going to Bhiwani, the spot investigation, the FSL examination, the picking up of evidences. And last night only the police team has come back with the remains of those two boys. They are in the village right now. Our local officers are also there. We have assured them that we will leave no stone unturned to unearth all the people involved in this incident, whether named or not. There could be more, there could be others not named, and we shall bring everybody to justice. We are seeking their cooperation in this. I can understand right now because a heinous offense has taken place, so their sentiments are not misplaced. I'm sure that we will be able to convince them, and we will do our very best to bring all the offenders to justice.
So that was Gautam Srivastav telling us about this whole incident. He's saying that police is investigating the angle of Gaurakshak as well. So far, all the accused are underground, though they are saying that they are not involved, but police is investigating all the angles in the story, and family of both the deceased are protesting, and the police is still trying to make them understand that they should cremate the body first and they will get the justice. In Bharatpur, with Mohammad Mursaleen, Saurabh Shukla for NDTV.